Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Ways of the Sith. Thank you so much for taking time to check out the channel. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Ways of the Sith. So today, I'm going to show off some custom Star Wars action figures that I've been working on. I recently got some paint. I recently dove into customizing, so I wanted to show you guys off some of my creations. So first up, I'm going to show you one that I showed off in one of my previous videos, but I'm going to give you a better look at it. So let's check it out. So first up is my custom second sister Star Wars Inquisitor. I have the second sister figure, but I don't really care for it. It doesn't really pose well, falls down a lot. So what I did was I just kind of substituted that as the seventh sister in my display, and then took a Reva body and a Power Rangers Lightning Collection head. And this is my new Trilla second sister, which I just really like. It's not perfect. I could add the purple makeup over the eyes, which I still might do, but to me, I think it looks great. It looks really nice on the shelf with the rest of the Inquisitors, so for me it works. Next up is one I had to bring the camera down for to shoot because she is quite tiny, and this is my representation for young Leia on my shelf. So I was really hoping we were going to get one of her. I really loved the actress's portrayal of Leia. I thought she was awesome. She was probably one of my favorite parts of the show. So I decided to try to take a crack at making her. The formula for this, it's a Maz Kanata lower body, an Omega upper body, and a Leia in the white dress head. And then obviously Lola from Kenobi. So I did paint the upper torso and add the skirt on her and make that white. And then I just used the cloak from an extra Return of the Jedi Leia that I had just to, you know, give her that look. It's not perfect. I was going to give a shot at trying to make her cloak because I thought maybe the green, you know, the lighter green would look a lot better. But for now, this works. It's a good representation of her on my shelf. I tend to tuck the robe back here just to kind of bunch it up a little bit. And I did give her the holster with no pistol in it because Obi-Wan said he wasn't going to give her a blaster. So really, really cool. For me, it works. Let me see if I can get Obi-Wan and display him next to her. This way you can see. And here's a look at Leia with Kenobi. And this is how I have them on my shelf, just side by side. Like I said, it's not perfect, but it works for me in my display. Hopefully, we'll get her down the line. But until then, I have this. Also, if there are any customizers out there that want to make me a proper young Leia head, please reach me, hit me up in the comments or reach out to me on Twitter or Instagram. I would love to purchase one. I just have not found anybody that made one. So that's why I ended up using this head. It's got the bun on top and it's got the long braid, which I just tucked down behind the poncho. But it works for now. Now this one, just a quick, simple, easy little fix. This is the Bad Batch Rex. And as most of you know, he does not have his pauldron. So what I did was I cut a pauldron off another clone trooper that I had ended up pulling apart for parts. And I added Rex's pauldron. So I painted it, glued it on there, and now Rex looks proper on my shelf. Now speaking of Rex, I've been dying to have an iteration of Old Man Rex on my shelf. I know with the Star Wars stream the other day, they showed off Nick Saint / Old Man Rex, and I still don't even think it's half as good as the customized version that I did. I'm really happy with this. I think it looks great. So this is an Andor lower body from Rogue One. This is the poncho from the Rex Bad Batch. These are gauntlets off a clone trooper that I painted just to give him the blue. And then it is a Boba Fett head that I sculpted and painted the beard on. And it is the Endor Rebel helmet from that an extra Leia. Also gave him the clone battalion blaster sheath on the sides. I gave him the more modern one. This way he had a little bit more pockets and stuff, looked a little bit more Endor-y. But for me, this is perfect. Like, this looks great. Underneath the poncho, see if I can show it to you. He does have like a vest. and I painted the top blue. What I'm gonna do is I'll post the picture side by side that I took without the poncho on. I did add the poncho after the fact, and I kind of just like it with the poncho. He looks a lot cooler. He looks perfect standing next to Ahsoka. Really fits in great with the rest of my Endor stuff, and I even did the tally marks. I did realize though that the tally marks on his arms are white, so I'm gonna have to go back and paint the blue and just do those in white instead. But really, really cool. I also did paint one of the shoulders blue, so when he has this poncho off, he's got a little bit more 501st in him. But I love it. It looks great on my shelf for Rex, and it looks really, really great. And now on to my Black Series quote-unquote redeemed Reva, question mark. But I wanted to have another representation of Reva on my shelf. For me, I really want to see her and Cal Kestis in something. That's where I think they could really go and do something great in live action on Disney Plus with the two of them. Maybe even incorporate what's left from the past into the show. That would be fantastic in my opinion. But I was kind of struggling with what I wanted to do with her. So this is the Jaina Calrissian, I guess you could say, because it is Lando's daughter, but it's her body that I ended up using from the sequel trilogy. And I did cut off the gun holster that was on there, and I was just struggling with like what the look I was gonna give her was. I had a black cape that was like torn and tattered that I put on originally, and I asked a couple people like what I should do, and at the end of the day I decided to kind of come up with my own story. So in my mind, she got this gear from Kenobi. Kenobi nursed her back to health and sent her on her way and gave her his clone armor, and that's what she's rocking. So she's rocking a robe. I gave her the clone belt that she can strap her lightsaber into, and I gave her the clone shoulder pads. I also gave her a white saber because when you unbleed the Inquisitor stones, they become white blades. So that's what I figured. For now, it's cool. I'm sure I will end up doing more to this. If you guys have any ideas, please let me know in the comments what I should do with this to make it look even cooler. But for me, it looks really great standing next to Cal, and you know, she holds that place until we actually get her back in live action. So really, really cool. All right, so honestly, this was the one I had been working on for the longest amount of time. It was really just about finding the right pieces and the right things to go with her to make this iteration. But this is Asajj Ventress in which we should have seen in Clone Wars from Dark Disciple. This is one of my favorite stories. I think it's such a fitting end to Asajj and her character, and I really wanted to have something that represented that look on my shelf. We have the other one, which is an early Clone Wars look. It's not even like her more current and like frequently used look on Clone Wars. So I really just had a lot of fun with this. This is a lot of different parts. So this is the Asajj Ventress base. I just ended up using, you know, another base of Asajj, but what I did was I painted everything black except for the torso and the arms. This way it still had some of that purple color onto it. I'll show a picture side by side of like what her look looks like, so then this way you can kind of see this is not actually perfect, but for me it works really well. I think it looks good. I also gave her the bow from Jaina and the quiver, because in that story she has her Night Sister bow, which is really, really cool. So she also is supposed to have a yellow blade lightsaber, but unfortunately we don't have Bastilla Shan yet, so I couldn't have her with the yellow. I also did give her her other sabers attached to her hip. This is the same outfit she also wears towards the end of Clone Wars when Ahsoka gets set up on trial. She just doesn't have the long hair. So to do the long hair, what this actually is, I had cut a piece of a Marvel Legend and made the hair originally, but then I had an extra Lady J, and I was playing around with the hairstyle and just spinning it around on her head, and I thought it worked pretty good. It covers up the tats. It stays on. It goes right around the ears. So what I did was I painted that with a mix of silver, white, and gray, just to kind of make it different from her skin tone and give it a little shine to it, which is really nice. And then these overlays are actual rubber overlays that I glued to her. So this is from Marvel Legends Thor, Lady Thor. I painted, you know, the sides, painted and added the coloring to it. she's got this like weird pattern on this gear. So I tried to do the best I could with it. I also cut up a vest from a Rey Skywalker and ended up cutting that to make the straps on the front and the back of the gear, and also her shoulder pads. So really, really cool. I love this just because of the work that I put into it and how long it's taken me to get done. But it looks really, really cool, and I'm really, really happy with this. Another one I had a lot of fun doing is Mace Windu, if he survived. So in my mind, there's no body for Mace Windu. So in Star Wars, if there's no body, there's usually no death. So as far as I'm concerned, Mace is still out there somewhere. I may be wrong, but in my mind, he is. I love this though. So what I did was, this is a Grief Karga body, the actual torso and legs. The arms are off of the one arm is off of a Grief Karga. I'll take off the jacket and show you what it looks like underneath. And the other arm is actually Major Blood from G.I. Joe, because he loses that portion of the arm. So I wanted to represent that. I gave him, you know, a blaster on his hip. And what I did with the head here, I don't know if you can see it very clearly, but what I ended up doing was I took my X-Acto knife and just started making cuts into the head on the side there. And then I scorched it with a lighter lightly. And then what I did was I did a red wash, a white wash, and a skin colored wash over the top of it, just to kind of make it blend a little bit and almost look like it's healing, you know, like it's starting to scar over and the flesh is, you know, all burned from the lightning. I really love it. And what I did was I painted the one eye white, and then I just sculpted a little bit of a beard on him just to give him something there to make him look like he's been through hell. This is the Han Endor jacket, and I just love it. To me, it looks great. It looks like he's been roughing it for the past couple years. This is a scarf from Stalker from G.I. Joe Classifieds, and to me, this is how he would look after he was all messed up at the end of Revenge of the Sith. And here is Mace, and you can see his robotic arm there without the jacket on, and I just really dig it. I think it looks good. I'm probably going to put this in with my Boba stuff on the shelf. The head is a little loose on it, as you can see. For some reason, it's the right peg, but there's like still a gap underneath. So mainly why I gave him that scarf, just to try to keep the head from bouncing around. But I really, really like this, and think it came out pretty cool. And last but not least, one that I really had no intention of creating. Long story short, this body and this build was actually going to be for my selfie series. And then when I put it all together, I realized how much bigger this figure was than every other figure. So I thought it looked really cool. And then I got to playing around with it a little bit more and added a couple more things. I added this piece from the Asajj Ventress to give him that like pattern artwork. And I really just love this for Savage Opress. So it looks great next to Maul. I'll show you what the picture looks like. But I took the head. I actually cut the neck off the other one. Just the hair, and glued that on. But he can still move his head, which is great. I took the hands off the Night Brother. And I have my makeshift Savage Opress, because from what it looks like, we're never going to get him at all in this line, which is unfortunate. He's such a cool character, someone that I was really, really hoping for, especially in the Clone Wars line for the 20th. I thought for sure he'd be somebody that we'd end up getting. But for me, this looks really cool, and I'm really, really happy to have some sort of representation of Savage now. And just to show you how these two look together and the size difference, and how the other one like really towers over Maul, I just really like this. I think they look good side by side. It'll work for now. I know Savage have chest armor, and a lot of people end up using the Executioner body from Marvel Legends to do their build of him. But for me, this works. I think it looks cool. Well, that'll do it for today's video and showing off my customs. So let me know in the comments if you guys want more of these types of videos, if you maybe want tutorials on how to take some of these figures apart, or even questions as far as customizing goes. I would love to start doing some more stuff like that on the channel. But thank you guys so much for taking time to check this out. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and as always, may the Force be with
We
you.
would be honored if you would join us.